A river that had flowed for centuries suddenly died overnight. No warning, no explanation, just gone. The crops withered, the animals collapsed, and then the first child died of hunger. Eldren, a once thriving village, was turning into dust, but one girl, an outcast named Zuri, might be the only one who can bring it back. If she fails, the river will stay silent forever. A long time ago, in a far off land no one talks about anymore, there was Eldren, a cool village next to the River of Echoes, its water shining bright blue under the sun. The air smelled sweet like flowers mixed with wet dirt. Kids splashed and laughed in the river, and old people sat by the bank telling stories about big harvests, love stuff, and a special promise to Aquarelle, the river's magic spirit. They said they'd always be honest and nice to keep the river flowing forever. At night, with stars above, they danced, their dreams as big as the sunlight on the water. Houses were built with river mud, holding the first grains of the year, and fishermen pulled in nets full of shiny fish, singing happy songs. Life was awesome. Market guys traded spices and cool fabrics, their stalls bright with color, while crafty people made flutes from river grass, the music a gift to the spirit. But one morning, everything went wrong. The rain stopped, the sky turned a grumpy gray, and the river's happy song died, leaving a cracked, muddy mess. Fields turned to dry sticks, cows fell with sad, empty eyes, and a kid's cry broke the quiet like a loud horn. The sweet smell went away, replaced by a rotten stink, and the old stories turned to scared yells. In the shadows of this dying place lived Zuri, a small 14-year-old with eyes like a stormy day. Her parents were gone, and her grandma Nia raised her in a shaky hut on the village's rough edge. Nia told her stories about Aquarelle's power and that promise, stuck in Zuri's head like a catchy tune. One night, she dreamed the river called her name, its voice spooky but cool. Now, with Nia taken by a fever, Zuri held her grandma's journal tight, its pages covered in weird signs that felt warm like they were alive. The elders, led by Chief Kyle, a big guy with a loud voice, freaked out, shouting, "Kill a goat to make the gods happy. Cry a kid's tears to bring rain." But they forgot the promise, and people whispered about Zuri. "She's the curse, that outsider girl." They pointed and stared, their eyes hard, as the market died and the flutes stopped playing. What big secret hides in her heart, and can she save the river? Let's jump into her story and find out. Things are about to get wild. Time crawled by, and Eldren felt like a spooky ghost town, its streets quiet except for hungry tummy rumbles. The elders' meetings were a crazy mess. Kale, his pride as tall as a tree, yelled that a bad guy made the heavens mad, his eyes locking on Zuri like she was the problem. Hunger hit hard. Moms rocked babies with thin, sad faces, their cries soft like a whisper, while dads fought over a tiny turnip, the air smelling like worry. The old market, once full of fruit and fabric guys, now sat empty, its stalls drooping like tired old dogs under a gray sky. Zuri stayed hidden in her hut, hugging Nia's journal, its warmth a little comfort against the mean looks. For weeks the village starved. The elders fought. The river remained silent. Then, on the darkest night yet, lightning ripped through the sky like shattered glass. And in her dreams, Zuri heard it, a voice, calling her name. Aquarelle popped up, a glowing spirit of water and mist, its cage shaking with sadness that made her feel bad. "The promise is broken, Zuri," it cried, its voice soft but heavy. "Bad greed took the magic stone. Only your good heart can free me." She woke up, heart racing, the journal glowing with a map in shiny ink, a clue that could save them or make things worse. Kyle took over, his voice a loud boom, declaring a hunt for the stone. The villagers, their eyes wild with greed, dreamed of power to rule or gold to run away, grabbing rusty tools and old bags. Zuri stepped up, her voice shaky, but Kale snapped, "An orphan stays out." She snuck after them anyway, her heart burning with fight. They ran into the whispering forest, a creepy place where trees groaned like sad ghosts, their twisty branches grabbing the air with a stink of rot and sticky stuff. The ground squished underfoot, a reminder of the fun that used to be there, now gone. One by one, they messed up, tricked by fake gold piles that sparkled like dreams, sucked into dark pits that opened like hungry mouths. Among them was Taro, a young guy with a quick smile who once shared bread with Zuri, but now his eyes glowed with greed as he chased a fake treasure, vanishing into a pit with a scream that echoed. Then came Lila, a tough girl with a scar, who blamed Zuri for her lost brother, her anger a storm as she fell to a trap. Zuri hid behind rough roots, the damp bark cold on her skin, her dream her only guide. Can her good heart beat this spooky dark, or will the forest grab her next? What happened to Taro and Lila? Will their loss push her forward or break her? Under a moon hiding behind silver clouds, its light peeking through thick trees, Zuri camped by the forest's edge. The journal's glow, her only buddy in the dark. Aquarelle's voice, light as a breeze, whispered, "The stones in the heart of the mountains, guarded by tests. Your heart is my last shot." Alone, she pushed into tall pines, their needles brushing her skin, the wind biting with cold that made her shiver. Her first test came fast. A fox with gold fire eyes blocked her way, looking like a puzzle wrapped in coolness. "What's heavier than gold, but costs nothing?" it teased, its tail flicking like a dare. Zuri's head spun, sweat on her face despite the cold, her breath puffing. "Kindness," she said, voice steady like a rock. The fox melted into mist, and a light rope stretched over a deep hole, its glow shaking like it was alive. Heart pounding, she stepped on, the hole growling below as it held her, the drop daring her to fall. Days blurred with hunger growling in her tummy, and cold seeping into her bones, the mountains looming like old giants with secrets. Along the way, she met Mara, a wandering healer with silver hair and a scarred face, who'd lost her family to the drought. Mara gave Zuri a sip of bitter herb tea, her voice rough but nice. The mountains hide more than a stone, they hide the truth. Together they trekked on, but then a twist. A shadowy figure, Joran, a forest scout with a sly grin, joined them, claiming he knew the path, but hinting at a hidden plan. In a cave lit by glowing moss, its green light making spooky shadows, a mirror pool showed Zuri's fears, Nia's dead face, the village's mean looks, her own doubts creeping up. A big voice boomed, shaking the walls. "Show me your worth." Zuri balled her fists, Nia's words lighting her up. "Forgiveness is your power." Tears rolled down as she said sorry to her haters, and the pool sparkled, showing the sacred stone, a bright beating ball. But the ground shook hard, knocking them down. Shadows twisted into a giant god, half rock, half water, its roar shaking everything. "Betrayal broke the promise," it thundered. "Prove you're different, or face the end." Zuri stumbled, handing over the journal with shaky hands, its pages fluttering. "We honor you, Aquarelle, with truth and humility forever," she chanted, voice cracking. The guard froze, eyes narrowing, but Joran stepped up, revealing a stolen map. He'd been after the stone too. Mara pushed him back, and the guard growled. Then a new twist. Joran's map glowed, showing a second stone, sparking a fight as the guard demanded both. Will they all survive, or will Joran's greed doom them? The guard's stare dug into Zuri, Mara, and Joran, quiet hanging like a storm about to hit, the air thick with nerves. "Your hearts glow a bit," it rumbled, voice deep like the ground, "but you must give up your pasts." Pictures hit Zuri, Nia's last breath, years alone, the hurt of being pushed away. Mara saw her lost family, and Jorin saw his greedy mistakes. Let it go, it ordered, or the river stays dead forever. Tears poured from all three, their chests heaving as they yelled, letting their pain melt into the stone's light. The weight lifting like a heavy bag dropped. The cave lit up like a fireworks show. The stone's beat broke the god's cage with a loud crack, and Aquarelle burst out, a rush of water and mist singing, "The promise is alive." A light river lifted them, whooshing through mountains where rocks fell, forcing them to dodge, through the forest where branches parted, to Eldren. The village gasped as the river of echoes roared back, its crash a happy boom. Crops popped up green, cattle stood tall, and old songs filled the air with a tune long gone. But trouble exploded. A rival village, jealous and mean, sent black-clad fighters, their swords shining with greed, led by Voro, a scarred warlord who'd once been Kale's buddy, but turned bad for power. "Give us the stone, or Eldren burns," Voro growled, voice like a knife. Zuri, Mara, and Jorin stood strong, their staffs glowing bright. The river jumped up, a water wall, and Aquarelle joined them, shouting, "The promise never breaks." The fighters charged, but a twist hit. Voro pulled out a second stone, dark and evil, its power clashing with theirs, sparking a crazy storm of water and shadow. Zuri and Mara fought back, but Jorin hesitated, tempted by Voro's offer. Zuri begged, "We need you." He tossed the dark stone away, joining them, and they channeled their light, the river rising higher, swallowing Voro's stone in a blinding flash. The fighters ran, scared by the river's loud echo, and Zuri's staff got new marks. Another climax hit. As they cheered, the ground shook again. A hidden cave under Eldren cracked open, revealing Lyra, an old priestess with chains, her voice weak. The promise's real test is working together. Zuri, Mara, and Jorin freed her, but Voro returned with a trick, a poison dart aimed at Lyra. Zuri blocked it, taking a scratch that burned, and they renewed the oath together, the river surging with golden light, healing Zuri and banishing the last shadows. A new twist. Lyra revealed a prophecy. A final trial awaited. They climbed a peak facing a storm of dark birds, their cause a challenge. Zuri led, her staff blazing, and the river rose, scattering the birds, sealing the oath with a rainbow glow. Their staffs glowed as one, marking a new start. Eldren bloomed again, fields green like a painting, people kneeling to remake the promise, their voices a happy song. Zuri, now 20, became the river guardian, her staff a light guiding her, with Mara, Jorin, and Lyra as her team. They traveled, fixing dry lands, their steps a promise kept. Back in Eldren, she saw a shrine for her, its stones shiny with river water, but her heart wanted more. A desert river whispered, and with her friends she followed, vanishing into the sands on a quest that never ends. This story says, real power comes from a good heart and kept promises. Greed shuts the world down, kindness brings it back. Zuri's tale asks us to listen to the past for our future,